Let's delve into the most expensive fines paid by NBA owners. While some of these might be justifiable, others are just way too dumb. Stick out your tongue, fine. Life on the bench, fine. Going snowboarding with the boys, fine. It seems like these days you can't do shit without getting fined. But it isn't just the players receiving the fines. NBA owners such as Mark Cuban and Joe Lacob seem to be on the NBA Rules and Regulations Commission's hit list. From being fined $500,000 for shit-talking the refs, and even being fined 250 racks for simply sending out a tweet. Here are the most expensive and ridiculous fines paid by NBA owners. And what the last owner did also got him banned from the league. For life! First up, this owner got into big trouble because of what he leaked to the media. Oil and gas billionaire Aubrey McClendon back in 2007 had decided he was a good idea to leak the plan to move the Supersonics to Oklahoma City. The news obviously had the Seattle fans choked. But they weren't the only ones McClendon pissed off with this leak. Ex-Commissioner David Stern was pissed at McClendon and slapped him with a $250,000 fine. Keeping in the theme of billionaire co-owners screwing up, we find our next person on the list. Silicon Valley tech billionaire Mark Stevens, a co-owner and board member of the Warriors. Back in 2019, Warriors vs Raptors, everything was on the line there. It all started when Kyle Lowry dived into the stands to save a loose ball, but went flying into the crowd instead. Funny thing is, he didn't even touch Stevens, but Stevens decided he was about that smoke. This man really shoved Kyle Lowry as he was trying to get up. Not a smart move by Mark. Not only did Stevens shove my man Lowry, but he also decided that that wasn't enough, and started insulting him as well. Lowry kept his cool and he walked away from the situation, but it remained one of the dominating storylines throughout these finals. Lowry received support from across the league, and even the Warriors players and coaches showed their support for Kyle. The NBA had to react quickly, and it did. A $500K fine and a 1-year ban.
What happened last night at Oracle Arena was simply unprecedented, and the fallout continues.
It sure does, Sage. We start with breaking news here on SportsCenter. The NBA's banned the fan who shoved the Raptors guard Kyle Lowry last night for 1 year and fined him $500,000. That fan turns out to be Warriors investor Mark Stevens.
Now Stevens isn't the only Warrior owner on the league's punishment radar. Owner Joe Lacob also got fined 500 bans. It all started with a podcast. Joe decided to hop on Igualada's podcast. It was going good until Joe decided to shit-talk the NBA's luxury tax rule.
And what I consider to be very unfair, and I'm going to say it on this podcast, and I hope it gets back to whoever is listening. I think it's and obviously it's self-serving for me to say this, but I think it's a very unfair system because our team is built by top eight players are all drafted by this team.
See, back when the Warriors won this year's championship, Joe got a lot of hate from other owners. These guys might have just been salty, but they were accusing the 2022 Warriors championship run as being a checkbook win. See, what had happened was the Warriors were $200 million over the salary cap. But the thing was, $150 million of that was simply the luxury tax that Golden State had to pay. He also complained that the luxury tax was too penalizing, especially for teams built from the ground up who drafted their players and developed them into NBA stars. Look, I'm not no Curry fanboy, but even I know that that doesn't seem fair. Next up, we got the one you guys have been waiting for, the king of fines, Mark Cuban. This man is known so well by the commission that he's paid over 10% of all the total fines for the last 22 years. The league really decided to turn my boy Mark into the personal cash cow. Cuban's the most fined person in the NBA and is slapped with over 20 fines coming out to nearly $3 million. You can't stop this legend though.
It's still trash talking. You can't stop it. Well, your trash talking was so good you actually dropped an F-bomb before the game here when I interviewed you, and so I've just been informed that you've actually been fined $15,000.
Mark's known to be one of the realest dudes in the NBA and doesn't let a petty fine stop him from speaking his mind. This dude's such a savage that he literally got fined $15,000 for dropping an F-bomb during an interview. What did Mark do? He said, F it, and decided to double up his fine to $30,000.
So if I say it again, I have to pay another $15K?
Hey, you want to up it to $30,000?
Fuck it.
One of his biggest fines came back in 2017. This dude really said that the Mavs should just tank for the rest of the season. The NBA didn't like that one bit and decided to slap him with a $600,000 fine. Added to the list. You'd think that Mark would be first place on the NBA's fine list, but what this next guy did is totally unacceptable. Donald Sterling, one of the most controversial owners in the league. Back in 2014, this man decided to privately make racist comments about Magic Johnson. Once his tape got leaked, he got hit with a $2.5 million fine by the league.
I am also fining Mr. Sterling $2.5 million, the maximum amount allowed under the NBA Constitution.
This dude already had a terrible track record outside of the NBA, and he was sued multiple times for discrimination in his real estate businesses. But when this dude attacked an icon of the NBA, the players, owners, and Commissioner Adam Silver weren't having any of it. On top of having to pay the largest fine ever, Sterling was forced to sell the Clippers and he was banned for life from the NBA. Even though the fines you've seen today seem like a lot of money, remember these NBA players and owners are multi-millionaires and even billionaires. Along with losing money for fines, NBA players make a shit ton of bread. Check out this next video to see some of the most expensive purchases NBA players have ever made.